Hello friends, I am Ashwin. Today I will show you one of the most fantastic chess game ever played. The game was played between Jonathan David Tisdall versus Graham Lee in 1981. Jonathan with the white pieces started the game with pawn to d4, now pawn to e6, e4, c5, knight f3, and we have Sicilian defense by transposition c capture on d4, knight capture on d4, knight f6 attacking e4, knight to c3 defending it, and now bishop to b4, the pin variation of Sicilian defense. Here comes this pawn on e5. So black played this knight to e4 attacking c3 twice. So rather than defending it, white played just queen to g4. Fantastic move threatening this queen capture g7 and queen capture on e4. So knight capture on c3 played, and here white played this intermediate move queen capture on g7, and you don't have anything with this discovery either with knight d5 or knight e4. For example, knight to d5, then simply pawn to c3, and you are no position to capture on c3 because your rook on h8 is just hanging, right? So after this queen capture g7, black played this rook on f8, and here comes this pawn on a3, and now black played this knight to b5 discover check and wins the piece on d4, pawn capture on b4, knight capture on d4. So black is having material advantage, but in return white is having amazingly lead in development. As you can see, this queen is very aggressively posted. I am threatening this simple move bishop to h6, and it would be really difficult for black to defend this rook and even checkmate in case you just move your queen. First white played this bishop to d3, protecting this c2 pawn, and here comes this queen to b6, and now bishop to g5. Unfortunately cannot take here on b4, otherwise pawn to c3 wins, because after queen capture b2 just short castle, and now I am threatening this bishop to h6, a checkmate threat, and I am also threatening pawn capture on d4 followed by rook to c1. So this position is just mind blowing for white. For example, this queen capture on c3 can be made by this simple rook to c1, and white is winning. And if you play say knight to e2 check, then bishop capture e2, queen capture e2, and now bishop to h6, and you have to save this rook and the checkmate, which is not possible. So say pawn to d5, and now queen capture rook check, king to d7, and now queen capture f7. As you can see, this position is just crushing. White is just winning. So after bishop to g5, actually in the game knight to f5 was played attacking the queen. So here comes this bishop capture on f5, e capture on f5, and white long castle here. So black is having material advantage. So what would be a nice strategy for black? Of course black would like to exchange the queen, and black played this queen to g6. Now pause this video here and find the most fantastic chess move ever played, and that is pawn to e6. What a move! I mean, you can take my queen, but problem is that after pawn capture on d7 check, and knight capture on d7, and rook h to e1, it's a checkmate on next move queen e5 force, and now rook capture e5 is just knight capture, and now this rook to d8 is checkmate. So definitely you cannot capture my queen after this pawn to e6. You can take with the f pawn, f capture e6, but then comes this queen to g7 checkmate. You can take with this d pawn, but then comes this opera checkmate with rook to d8. So neither my queen, neither the pawn can be captured, and of course you cannot capture this pawn with the queen, otherwise simply rook h to e1 is winning. And similarly, if you take my bishop, I simply take your queen, and this position is winning for white. So black find this defend, that is pawn to d5 with an idea of knight to c6, so can defend this d8 square. White played this rook capture d5 threatening rook to d8 checkmate, and now knight to c6 was played. In this position the most powerful move is pawn capture on f7 check, and after rook capture f7, rook to e1, so bishop to e6, and now rook capture e6, queen capture e6, and queen g8 is just winning because rook f8 is the only move, and now queen capture e6 followed by checkmate. I mean knight e7 and queen capture e7. So definitely e capture f7 was the most powerful move, but white played the most stylish move, and that is pawn to e7, again sacrificing the queen. I mean, you cannot take the queen, otherwise this rook to d8 check, and after knight capture d8, again pawn promotion into rook or the queen, both are just checkmate. So pawn e7 and knight capture e7 happened in the game, but here comes this rook sacrifice, rook to d8 check, and after king capture d8, queen capture rook check, king to c7, and now queen capture e7 is just winning. In fact, after this pawn to e7, knight e7, and rook d8, in this position black resigned. But as you can see, after king capture d8, queen capture f8, king c7, queen capture e7, and whatever you play, checkmate is coming. For example, bishop here on a d7, then comes this bishop to f4, which forces queen to d6. Otherwise, a checkmate very soon. For example, king to c8, then simply queen to f8 is just winning. So after queen to d6, simply queen capture on d6, and white position is just winning. One other variation could be king to b6, but then comes this queen to c5 check followed by queen to f5 checkmate. So friends, how was the game? I hope you find it really interesting and fantastic. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.